Mike, we got one of our all-time favorite guys in the graphic today. It's William Barr tending goal for the Clintons, or is he? What is William Barr doing?
Barr's looking pretty good. I think maybe the Flyers should sign him. He did a good job.
Yeah.
Looks pretty flexible. Yeah.
What is that?
No, they say
I don't even know the
they
team. The
say
Redskins, right?
put the Redskins. You've lost your marbles. When they say put the biscuit in the back of the net, it's Barr's going to make sure the biscuits don't get to the back of the net.
Exactly. But what is this jersey he's wearing? This is some team. It's not the Redskins. It's football, right? So this is
You have a Blackhawks jersey on?
Blackhawks. There you go.
Yeah, that's racist too. Everything's racist now.
Yeah.
That's
Kick
racist.
it out.
Everybody's racist. You're racist. I'm racist. We're all racist. Now that that's out of the way, we can do a show.
Exactly. So there's every week we've got the same overview, a ridiculous amount of things going on, but it seems like a lot of reporting now is coming, it's like traveling through time, going back in time to like 2017 when True Pundit was talking all about this stuff. What's the latest, Mike?
Well, we'll talk about some of the good stuff tonight. What's old is new again. What's new, you know what I mean? We broke in so many crazy stories on the FBI, and they were crazy at the time, but now 3-4 years later, everybody else is talking about them like they're brand new. You know what I mean? And one instance this week is the Wiener laptop. People thought we made all this stuff up. It's like how could you make any of that up to begin with? It's insane to begin with. And now it's back out because the FBI agent John Robertson, who worked the case, is dishing some dirt in a new book that was out today. I think it's the guy from the Washington Post's book, kind of a squirrely guy, Barrett, Devlin, his name, Devil, whatever. But so now that's out, and it echoes a lot of the same exact things we were saying. And that's 4 years ago. That's like an eternity as far as I'm concerned. If you're breaking stuff 4 years ago and nobody else really has had it, again, it goes back to, and it's funny, bro. We got wind of this 2 weeks ago that something was going to be coming out on this from an FBI guy. We really didn't know what it was or how much he was going to say, that kind of thing. So we started reposting the old story from November 2nd. I think it was November 2nd, 2016. And and people were like getting mad. Why are you reposting this from 2016? Why are we talking about something from 2016? And I'm thinking, everything we talk about is from 2016. What the hell are you talking about?
Still no one's done anything.
What kind of a dumbass are you? We talk about the Russian interference. We talk about the Russian tampering. We talk about the spying on Trump. This is all 2016. All of a sudden, we're worried about 2020. This country won't be worried about 2020 until about 2023, 2024. Okay, the people in this country are literally 3 years behind on the stuff we're doing here, at least True Pundit. And I was I was talking to a former DEA guy today, and he said, "You're cursed. You're 4 or 5 years ahead of everybody. It's like a curse." The first guy out of he said he was the same way with his career. He said the first guy out of the chute, no one believes. They think you're crazy. And then it takes a long time for this stuff to evolve. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy said that a long time ago. It's pretty smart." So it's just like the way it is. It's human nature. We understand that we're battling a lot of things. But I'd rather be first than last. So we'll talk about another thing tonight. There's some breaking stuff going on with Barr and the Clintons. It's more egregious time and time again. I'm sorry. It just gets crazier. It gets deeper. And one guy I was talking to this week said, "I don't understand. Why don't they just sell these people down the river and get it over with? Indict them for a number of different things." And some things we'll be talking about tonight stem from another 2017 article we wrote about the Clinton Foundation. This is like 3 years ago. It's insane. And now that's germane, coming out in some of the mainstream media. They're dancing around the fact they don't mention the Clinton Foundation. They're talking about FinCEN filings and banks and things like that. He wrote about, of course, they're talking about the Trump administration and all this stuff because it came out in BuzzFeed, and they're not going to attack the patron saints of the left, especially when the editor of BuzzFeed is a Yale alum and Hillary is a Yale alum. They're thick as thieves. You know what I mean? And
I
don't
saw
forget
that
BuzzFeed.
FinCEN stuff. Sorry to interrupt you on BuzzFeed, but I was thinking about you when I saw this yesterday. What is up with FinCEN?
Well, they did a story. It's interesting. They looked at a few filings and made a lot of leaps. It's decent information. It's nothing that hasn't already been out there. A few things that they made some good revelations, but again, there's a lot of holes in it. They don't tackle a lot of things that should be tackled, specifically people on the other side of the aisle, so to speak. These guys are partisan. Don't forget they're the ones who started the whole Trump dossier scheme back in the 2016 election. So they do a decent job of laying some things out. I think the information is to be taken with a grain of salt on a lot of the stuff. But anytime you can put, I said this morning on the podcast, okay, so they're putting a spotlight on this, and that's a good thing that banks are operating corrupt. Now, if you listen to me on this show, with you and I have been talking about this for 2 years, how it really works behind the scenes with banks, right? We've talked about this for my time at Citi. So if you listen to what I've been saying for a year and a half, 2 years on here, that FinCEN story dovetails with the exact same things I've been saying. In fact, it probably would have benefited them to talk to more people who were in banking to give them a more rounded view of what's happening behind the scenes in banking, but they didn't do that, but that's okay. It's a decent story, but again, it's like the Panama Papers. I don't know if you remember them. They came out.
Mossack Fonseca.
Yeah. Well, we did an analysis of the Panama Papers, and we said, I don't know when they came out. I think it was before I went back into journalism. We were looking at this stuff, working intel cases and doing the Panama Papers. But we looked at it and said, okay, where are all the beautiful people in the United States? How come there's no documentation on them? Are you to tell me that out of all these documentations and paperwork and filing, there's just nothing about the rich and famous in the United States? Bullshit. So we went back. We find that Soros has his hand in the funding of the people that put this thing together. And I think the same group put this thing together, this FinCEN thing. So it's like, oh, that must be nice. Where you can go through all the documents and pluck out all the stuff where your friends might be implicated and then do a big blowout on it and make them look like, there's nothing wrong with these people. There's no doubt in the Panama Papers, it was edited and sifted through to protect the guilty, so to speak, in the United States, because it's impossible, literally impossible from what we know about offshore havens and banking havens and offshore accounts and things like that there would be just no major players in the United States implicated. It's fucking impossible. It is literally impossible because this is the bread and butter. One of the biggest markets for that, for these law firms, for offshore tax havens and tax evasions is the United States. Setting up offshore accounts in other places, whether it's corporations in the United States, whether it's people in the United States forming other corporations in these tax havens, and then setting up a network where they can make deposits into those places and wire them out from different places. The United States is the biggest player in the market. I'm sorry. And for them not to be implicated whatsoever in the Panama Papers, it's like, come on. Who's running this show? Who are they protecting? Again, it's like another protection racket. And then you see Soros is involved, and one of his agencies are involved. He's got so many different little cutouts he uses. And you're like, okay, this has been watered down to protect everybody. It's another bullshit thing. And what can you do about it, right? You can't do anything about it. I mean, one of the things you can do about it is you get in the know, right? So that you know what's happening. But when we look at fast forward now to this stuff coming out. Again, where's the stuff on the Clinton Foundation? One of the biggest egregious players on the global scheme and on the global scale, I think, it's the Clinton Foundation. We're going to talk about that tonight. Some of the stuff I found out in the last couple days poking around about this because, again, just as I laid out, it's very suspicious that they're not mentioned here. And I guess I wouldn't expect them to be, but they should be. And then we tie that into, I asked these guys behind the scenes, why doesn't Barr do anything? Just like kind of like where you beat your head against the wall, you just can't figure it out. And they have some very interesting answers. But a lot of people, as we've talked about before, in the FBI, in the Justice Department, and around surrounding intelligence apparatuses and the intelligence community are asking the same thing. Not everybody is deep state, and not everybody is a black hat that works intel. There's a lot of white hat guys, and there's a perpetual tug of war inside, I think. For the last several years, we've been doing this at least. And they're asking the same things. Why wouldn't it just be better to get this over with? Just put a tourniquet on this. But there's some very interesting things that are emerging, and a lot of them go back to the stuff that we've written about. And to be quite honestly with you, Jason, the 2017 piece we wrote, I didn't even know what the hell it meant at the time. It was just something that we were regurgitating from people on the inside, and I didn't really. Things were happening so fast back then, right after the election. It's like you write it, and it's like, well, okay, we'll put this out, we'll see where it goes. And then when you look back on it, and you find out more nuggets of intel years later, you're like, oh my God, this is crazy, because it dovetails with stuff that we've been told now for years, not just like months or weeks. This goes back years, and I think tonight you're going to get a glimpse into what really is one of the things that were going on with the Clinton Foundation that maybe very few people understand, and why it's so difficult to bring them to justice because of the things that they did, which are so far out of control, that there's no way to air it in public. It would be like a national scandal. And also, because don't forget, she was Secretary of State when she was running these schemes. And it's like, wait a minute. It's not just so at this point, it's not just the Clinton Foundation. It's the United States government she was representing, and she was using the Clinton Foundation for illicit, a lot of nasty stuff. So how do you separate that? The fact that she was Secretary of State and Obama was president. How do you separate that from the fact that she was using the Clinton Foundation and along with Bill to run these massive global schemes? And I'm not just talking about pharmaceuticals. That's one thing. This is a whole nother realm. So how do you separate that? It's impossible, right? The United States is going to have egg on its face, and maybe worse. Maybe some problems on the world stages. So, we're getting in. You and I have talked about the protection racket for a long time, and I'll shut up after this so you can talk. We talked about the protection racket for a long time. Now we dig deeper into it, and that's what happens. See, time affords us the ability to do that, as we're finding out now even with the Wiener laptop story, because guys who are in the FBI are now getting the hell out of the FBI and saying the whole thing was corrupt. But you don't have that ability in 2016 to do that, because everything is happening as we're writing about it. People are so close to it. But now, after people start walking away, and also, I think the Clintons, in many instances now, are seen as a wounded duck. They're not as strong as they were 3-4 years ago in 2016, right? The Clinton Foundation is, for all intents and purposes, a wounded duck. It's not bringing in that much money. So you look at that as well. What happened? Why isn't it bringing in the money? And Charles Ortel and yourself have talked about that. Other people have talked about that. But this all dovetails, right? So when you're not seen as dangerous as you once were, other people start talking now. You know what was really going on, and what they really won't say. That's what I like when somebody tells me, well, you know what was really going on, right? And you're like, yeah, I know what was going on. The fuck is he talking about? Well, yeah, of course I know what's going on. And then they tell you something, you're like, holy shit, I didn't know that. So we'll talk about it, but it's like, how do you separate Clinton's crimes from the foundation and what she was doing as a top representative for the United States? How do you separate that without making massive embarrassment? And it's it's crazy.
It's a sticky wicket, I think, is what they call that. And I mean, I've been learning a lot, Mike, over the past 3 years about how a lawyer with a sinister mind can do crimes in a way. I mean, most people sit at home trying to just have a nice life with their family. They're watching us on YouTube or Subscribestar or Patreon or whatever. And when you think of crime, you're thinking about people out on the street, sticking a gun, give me your money, break into the bank, robbing a car, robbing a house. The level of sophistication in terms of understanding the law and getting things, and it's not just the law, it's politics, because it's all these questions of, even if this is against the law and it could be prosecuted, it's happening in this time frame where there's this election or that election and it wouldn't look right to prosecute this person. They're absolutely experts at putting together not only complicated schemes, but putting them together in such a way that you can't do anything about it, practically.
Well, yeah, especially when they make the rules. They can change the rules. They can move the goalposts because they can.
That's why you need Barr tending goal.
Well, and I have to tell you, people are miffed why this guy won't take action. But I almost think that I don't want to make excuses for these guys, right? But it's like, okay, do we really want to open up this can of worms? Do we really want another Iran-Contra? Do we want to put the country
also paved over, didn't he?
Well, he's paving over a second one. And that's what's happening. So, but it wasn't on his watch. So it's strange that he wouldn't be more attentive to try to clean it up. Or is he cleaning up by fixing it, right? Is it just so out of, and here's the other thing. Does Trump even know about this? I don't even know. That's a question that I was told by federal guys this week. Does Trump even know about this? Put this out.
How could he not?
They said put it out and get it out so that it's out there. And he has a better chance of seeing it. How could he not? I don't know. God, the stuff the guy has got come across his desk. It's like rapid fire. The poor guy is like under siege. First you got all these maniacs, and then you got like the Clinton. Can you keep track of the Clinton schemes? I can't.
I have Charles to help me do that. But, it's interesting, Mike. The president has been retweeting. True Pundit or you personally? I know there's been a few that he's retweeted. That's got to be putting a lot of...
He's retweeted it. I don't know which ones, if it's me or True Pundit, but, we'll take it. We could use the help as a small independent news organization. And it's funny. We've noticed since he retweeted us a number of times recently, Twitter is just... Shut the dial down, man.
Right.
So it's crazy. And we're seeing a lot less action and traffic than we usually do since he retweeted us. There's no doubt. Now, look, that's the way it is, bro, right? We accept it. It's crooked. And I'm not bitching because it doesn't get you anywhere. But I'm just saying it's noticeably different since he retweeted you. So I'm sure other people in the news business have the same problem. And they just dial it down. Like, okay, well, all right, dial them down and we'll teach them a lesson. We'll teach them to get on a national scale, national platform. It's strange. It's really strange, but it's part of the territory. As you know, independent media, it's an uphill battle all the time. Because this is literally controlled by billionaires, and that's the way they want it. That's the way. And I'm talking about the right-wing media. Of course, we know the left-wing media. The right-wing media is not any different, although it professes to be different. It's not much different, perhaps a little bit different in a lot of different ways, and that's a topic for another show. But they will tweak you. They will tweak you, and also after the president retweet you a number of times, a lot of lunatics come out of the woodwork. It's right. like, whoa, where were these perverts at? Just waiting in the dark.
Waiting in the lunatic story. What's the highlight of the lunatic bin?
What do you mean?
Like something crazy somebody tweeted to you or emailed you after Trump?
Oh, yeah. There's crazy emails. You know what I mean? And then there's there's just an uptick in insane, like I don't read it anymore, right? But we have people that look at it, an uptick in insane comments on our tweets, right? And that are these people aren't even lucid. They're just insane, and it's like personal attacks are one thing. It's no big deal. It's like, I don't even pay attention to that stuff because I got so much to do and we're still such a small crew. We don't have the luxury of reading our own press, so to speak, but there's some dangerous people out there, man. They are, I don't know who's paying them. They have to be paid because nobody would do this stuff for free. Just single people out and attack. It has to be paid. It has to be organized. And we understand that. And we try not to let it affect anything we do. But if you can get caught, as you know, you can get caught in the quicksand with these people and it slow you down. So although we like when the president retweeted us, at the same time, this isn't a place anymore, America, where that necessarily means that it should be the good thing that you would think it would be, right? Because it's so fucked up out there, and it's so partisan, and these media overlords, these social media overlords, way too much power, man. They need to be checked and wrecked, in my opinion.
But it seems like Trump is reading your Twitter feed kind of consistently, because back in May, you had this thing. This was the first one that I noticed. And of course, the left-wing lunatics at Mother Jones, they jump on it right away. That you're immediately branded as a conspiracy, whatever.
Mother Jones has David Corn, who's their top reporter, a guy who was allegedly molesting coworkers. So we'll take if Mother Jones wants to call us out, that's fine, as long as Corn has his pants on while he's tweeting. I don't have a problem with that. If he wants to, I mean, see, these guys. Look, it's funny. I'll just say this, right, and everybody should listen to this, right? You can't be in this arena on either side of the aisle and on a national platform where the president's tweeting you and Mother Jones. You cannot be in this arena unless you've been nicked up, scarred, right? Because to get to this level, there are no Eagle Scouts at this level. There are no altar boys. There are no saints. Everybody's got a skeleton or two in their closet, right? That's the way it is, right? The trick is to get those skeletons out and embrace them, like me with the FBI, and say, I don't give a fuck about that, right? And move on, because they can't use it against you. But everybody at this level, okay, has been banged up and bruised on the way to a national, so to speak, platform, right? This is life. Are you 40 or 50 and you haven't made any mistakes in your life? No, people make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. A guy like Corn, okay, he likes to grab some ass, allegedly. Likes to, okay, that's his skeleton, right? So that's his skeleton, right? So you can't let the personal attacks kind of get you down. At least I just roll with them. Look, like I say, everybody's got, whenever somebody attacks me, we know pretty much everything about everybody else. We made our business early on when we got involved. Hey, let's background all these assholes. It's kind of slow right now. So we know what all these guys, most of them, right? Listen, all the guys that your favorite trading card, right wing, pseudonym guys, this guy, that guy, who don't use their real names. We know who they are. We know their background. We know it. And believe me, there's a reason why they don't come out of the shadows, right? And they're retweeted heavily by establishment people. And we just shake our heads saying, if you fucking knew what these people were up to behind the scenes, you wouldn't be retweeting them or how they got here, right? So what I'm saying is everybody, by the time they get here, has been beat up a little bit, and you can always find dirt on somebody. But what is that? After you get past that stage, it's like, okay, now we're going to talk about the topics, right? You can't beat people up for their mistakes every single time you tweet about them. You sound like a moron, right? You get a couple of shots.
They love to do it, though.
That's why I tell people who are like anonymous and use pseudonyms, come out here. Come out, take your shots, big deal. So you're going to get embarrassed a little bit, right?
They won't.
It's a two-way street, man. It's a two-way street. Come on out. It's better. You and I had this talk 2018 in Philadelphia. I said, I'm out of the closet now, man. Easy, ladies. But I'm out. I'm not just Thomas Paine anymore. Now I have a pedigree. Now I can be fucking dangerous. Like, what, you think I'm going to go away? I'm not going away. I'm just getting started. We're just going to start having fun now. And that's what we've done. So it's better if you just come out. Take your shots. It's okay. Everybody should. It's the people, though, that don't come out and they stay in the shadows. Those are the people that I think are misleading people because they don't have that checks and balance. They can't put the real name behind it. You know what I mean? And and it's, you know, so if Mother Jones wants to write something about us, knock yourselves out, right? But
it's a weird name for a publication. I mean, everything used to be the something Post or the something Register or the some kind of, you know, news sounding name, but like Mother Jones, BuzzFeed, Daily Beast. Why are these even names? It's absolutely crazy. But, you know, we're just about out of time here, Mike. We got to make our transition over to the sponsor exclusive segment on Patreon and Subscribestar. People can sponsor and watch there either by going to subscribestar.com or patreon.com/truepundit and subscribestar.com and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. People also are going to want to check out the Thomas Paine podcast. There is a daily podcast that's Paine in the Morning. And then after this show, people are going to get the weekly exclusive Thomas Paine podcast, which is kind of like that's the big guns right there. But sponsors of True Pundit on Patreon and Subscribestar are going to get access to the commercial-free video version of Paine in the Morning. So it's a great way to go, and it helps to support Mike and his team at True Pundit. So for people who want to keep independent journalism independent, we need your support and sponsorship. We'll see everybody. We're just 3 minutes out now, Mike, so I'll see you over there on Patreon and Subscribestar.
Yeah, okay, man. Good stuff. See you.
Thanks for watching, everybody.